Hello everyone, welcome to yoga. This is a nice about 20-minute practice. We're going to begin seated. So let's find our way down into a comfortable seated position of your choosing. Legs crossed, legs extended. Since we're here at home, we can always have the option of propping ourselves up against the couch or up against a wall. And let's begin by bringing a bit of movement into the head and neck by just slowly rotating, almost shaking the head in slow motion. No. Let's see if we can link some breath to this movement. So inhaling, exhaling. Let's bring everything back to center and begin drawing a line with the nose, up and down. Let's see if we can once again link movement and breath. Bringing our gaze back to center. Let's inhale the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, allow the shoulders to melt back down. Inhale, rising. Exhale, sinking. Just a few more times, just like this. And allow the shoulders to melt all the way down, imagining the shoulder blades sinking down the back. Let's move into a breathing practice called starfish breathing. It will be a total of 10 breaths, and we'll use our hands to count our breaths. So as we inhale, we'll trace up the side of the thumb. We get to the top of the thumb, and we exhale down into the valley between the thumb and the first finger. We begin to rise up the side of the first finger, inhaling. Exhale as we trace down the other side of the first finger. Continuing this on one hand, moving through 5 breaths. And then moving to the other hand, inhaling and exhaling as we make our way through these 5 breaths. Once you've completed all 10 breaths, tracing all 10 fingers, let's bring the hands together and begin to rub, creating some heat, creating some friction between our hands. And then allowing the hands to come to heart center, resting right here. Let's press the palms together, feeling the engagement between the palms, all 10 fingers pressing, feeling the awareness as it grows into the wrists, up through the forearms, the elbows, all the way up to the shoulders. One more breath here, pressing together. And then exhale, let's give everything a little wiggle. Wiggle through the hands, the fingers, the wrists, all the way up the arms to the shoulders. And now we'll begin to make our way into an all fours position. Once we've arrived here, spreading the fingers wide, feeling the weight throughout all parts of the hand, the fingers. Feel the knees pressing down. Feel the tops of the feet. On our next inhale, we'll bring our gaze forward, looking up. Our belly sways down. And on our exhale, we draw the belly button up towards the spine. The chin tucks in and our tail tucks down as though we have a tail or we're tucking it between our legs. Inhaling back into cow, looking forward. Exhale into cat, a scared cat, the back arching up. Moving through this a few more times, using your breath to guide your way in between these two postures. Allowing this movement to be fluid. So there's no end, there's no beginning. Let's come all the way back here to all fours. Tucking the toes under, we'll make our way into downward dog. Knees are generously bent here. We're expanding the fingertips forward. Weight moves into all areas of the hands. Maybe we begin to pedal the feet one and then the other, feeling the weight shift as we do that. Shifting over to the right, shifting over to the left. Just a few more breaths here. We always have the option of keeping the knees down and feeling a sway from side to side in all fours. On our next inhale, let's begin to make our way, either walking or stepping, all the way up to the top of our mat. Arriving here in a forward fold. Let's let the knees be nicely bent. We'll allow the belly to come down to rest on top of the legs. Letting everything become heavy. Let's see if we can find movement in the head and in the neck. Relax the shoulders and arms. If you have a block or a pillow available to you, bring that floor up closer to you. Let the hands rest on your block. On our next inhale, let's sweep the arms nice and slowly. We root down through the feet. We rise up through the arms. Reaching up, arriving here in extended mountain pose. Let's look up towards the fingertips. Give the fingers a little wiggle. Give the wrists a little roll. Bringing the hands together palm to palm. Let's bring everything down to heart center. Take a few breaths here. Press the hands. Feel the fingers pressing. Feel that into the wrists, all the way up into the shoulders. Let's release the arms down by our sides. If we need to, we can widen the stance just a bit. And we're going to begin a side to side, kind of a sway. The arms will begin drifting from side to side. This is called knocking on heaven's door. You can see why. We just allow the arms to become heavy and they just drop to the sides. Nice to add a little breath practice in here. So one option is to exhale. Let the inhale just come. So the inhale comes as a reaction to the exhale. Just a few more here. And then we'll allow everything to slowly come back to center. Let's inhale, sweeping the arms all the way up and overhead. Once again, extended mountain pose, looking up at the fingers. And then exhale, we'll swan dive forward, bending the knees as we come down into a forward fold. On our next inhale, the hands glide up the legs to rest on the shins or on the thighs. We arrive here at a half lift or like a tabletop position. We imagine that we have a straight line, tail to tip of the head. So let's roll the shoulders down and away from the ears, if we can, making a nice long neck here. Maybe we can imagine that there's a little marionette string coming out from the top of our head, creating this nice length here. Let's stay here just a few more breaths. Stay with me, strong in the feet, rooting down, softening in the knees, calm strength. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, the hands slide back down the legs, arriving in a forward fold. 2 breaths here. Let's bring the hands down towards the mat. Stepping back, your choice, downward dog or all fours. Let's once again shift weight wherever you are here. Just that feeling of shifting weight from one side to the other. On our next inhale, we have another option here. Pulling forward into full plank or lowering the knees and arriving here in kneeling plank. Make your choice here, knowing that you can always decide one way and then choose another way. Feel the strength here. So softening as much as possible. I know that's hard. Softening, relying on the strength that you do have to hold you here. On our next inhale, we'll begin to drift back into child's pose. Make this child's pose work for you. So the hips will slide back towards the heels, but if that doesn't feel quite right for the knees, we can keep the hips higher, sliding the arms down so that we can melt forehead, melt the heart down towards the chest. On our next inhale, making our way to all fours or downward dog. Taking a moment here. A couple deep breaths. We can always inhale and sigh out. Now, wherever you may be, all fours or downward dog, we're going to step the right foot all the way forward. We can have one knee lowered for now if we'd like. And then we're going to lift. If we have the knee lowered, we're going to lift that left knee. Let's spin, pivot the left foot so we can plant all 4 corners of the left foot down. On our next inhale, we windmill the arms up and over. And we arrive here in our warrior 2 position. Let's flip the palms up, soften the elbows so the elbows become nice and drippy, nice and lazy. Let's look towards this right hand. Let's imagine that we're holding something right there in the right hand. Maybe a ball, maybe something with a little weight. Looking right towards that right hand. Let's begin to drift that right hand all the way down to rest on top of the right leg. Let's keep the weight away from collapsing. So we don't want to collapse here. We want to stay light. Let's take the left arm. Maybe it drifts up and over towards the left ear, or maybe you'd like to bring some movement here. So circling the arm. Here in our side angle position, maybe we'd like to drift the left arm back, resting the left hand on the low back, opening up, peeling open here. Using the leverage we have with our hand on our low back, peeling open the left shoulder. Maybe you're feeling adventurous today and you'd like to add a little bind here. Right hand reaches through. Our hands move towards one another. They may not touch, mine aren't touching. Maybe the right hand decides doesn't want to bind, and maybe it makes its way down towards the floor, or we have a block here. Let's inhale our way all the way back up. Warrior 2, arms extended, elbows become nice and drippy. Looking towards this right hand. Let's release the arms. Rotate feet. So let's pivot the feet so that we have our heels in towards the center, toes pointing out towards corners. Let's inhale our arms all the way up to our 5-pointed star. Imagine feeling that lengthening out through all 5 points of the star. Hand, head, hand, foot, foot. All 5 corners of our star expanding out. Inhale here, exhale, sinking. Elbows become heavy, sinking down into the legs. Inhale, we rise. Slow motion moonflowers. Inhaling and exhaling, matching the breath with the movement. Now here comes a change. Let's speed up. Let's slow it back down as though we're moving through molasses. Here we go. Let's speed it up. Releasing arms floating down all the way down by our sides. Let's pivot the feet once again. Let's turn. Left toes shift to the side. Right foot pivots and plants all 4 corners, expanding the arms out to the sides. Here we are in Warrior Two once again. Elbows heavy, palms up, looking towards this left hand. What are we holding here in our left hand? Let's give it a color. Let's give it some weight. Let's begin to drift down into the side angle position, lightly touching down on the left leg. Maybe expanding the right arm over towards the ear. You can also add movement in here, circling. If you'd like, that right hand can come to rest on the low back. We use that to peel open here. Maybe you'd like to experiment again with the bind. This hand comes through. Hands reach towards one another. I'm actually grabbing onto my leg here. Opening up. Let's release wherever we are. Top of the body rotates down towards this left leg. We bring the hands down and we use the hands as a way to walk us towards the middle, changing the feet here. Now feet are parallel to one another. Great place for blocks or pillows here, bringing the floor up closer to us. Let's maybe allow the hands to rest down on top of our blocks or all the way down on the floor. Maybe the head becomes heavy. Rest down, create a little resting place for the head. Soften the knees. Let everything go. Let's raise ourselves up a bit. Bring one hand here to the center, to your block or to the floor. Let's inhale the other arm, opening up to the side for a twist, for an opening here. Find a comfortable place for your gaze. Shining up through the extended arm, all the way up through each fingertip. Inhale, exhale, floating this arm back down, right back into our wide-legged forward fold. Let the head become heavy. Once again, using our hand to press us up here, opposite hand this time, and we open, inhaling, opening to the other side. Inhale, reaching through the fingertips. Exhale, floating all the way back down. Let's find a little side-to-side movement here. I'm going to scoot my blocks off. Find some side-to-side movement. Let the hands walk from side to side, bending into one leg and then the other. The next time we find ourselves walking towards the right foot, let's turn toes to the side, all 10 toes pointing in one direction, Hands are on either side of the right foot. Our left heel is lifted. Let's use our right leg to guide our way all the way up to standing. Take your time. Find your balance here. Arriving in a high lunge. Find a place for the arms. The arms can be here in a cactus position out to the side. Hands can be on hips. Maybe the arms would like to reach all the way up, and we can do a steeple grip here. So forefinger and thumb pressing together, reaching up, pointing up, lengthening and sinking all at once, as though we're being pulled in two different directions. Maybe we'd like to make our way into a twist here. We can bring left elbow all the way across to the right knee, moving into a twist here. Another option for our twist is to release the hands. Left hand comes around to rest on the right knee. Right hand comes around to rest on the right hip, and we move into a gentle twist. Wherever we may be, let's bring ourselves back to center. Hands float down on either side of the right foot. Let's let the hands initiate this movement. The hands begin to walk back towards center. Feet follow along. And then we begin that nice side to side, lunging, the hands walking from side to side, guiding us. The next time, we find our way over towards the left. The toes turn, all 10 toes in one direction. Let's use the left leg to guide ourselves up into a high lunge. Soften the knees, sinking down, positioning the arms, finding that perfect position. Maybe reaching up, maybe bringing that steeple grip here. And then we guide our way into a twist of our choice. Maybe we lower right elbow over onto the left knee. Maybe we release the arms. The right hand drifts across the left knee, left hand to left hip, and we twist. Let's make our way back to center. Hands drift down. Let's step the right foot forward, right beside the left foot, arriving here in a forward fold. Inhale, hands glide up the legs, finding a resting spot, and we make our way into half lift, this tabletop position with the back, rolling the shoulders down away from the ears, creating length. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, the hands slide down. We find our hands drifting down towards the mat as the knees soften. We step one knee back and then the other, arriving here in all fours. Finding balance between all four corners, both hands and both knees. Moving into spinal balance. Creating a nice straight line. Once again, tailbone to the tip of the head. Let's inhale, right arm forward, left leg back. We can keep all four corners down by tenting the fingers, keeping them down on the mat, and toes touching down. Bringing everything back in, switching sides. Once again, keeping all four corners down, perhaps hovering the arm and the leg. If we're hovering, let's extend through fingertips, reaching forward and through the back heel. Moving and breathing here just a few more times on each side. Let's make this our last one on each side. Arriving back in all fours, and then shifting our way into child's pose. Either hips rest back on heels, or hips stay a bit higher. We reach forward. Melting head, melting heart. Let's begin to walk the hands towards the right, shifting the hips, sliding the hips off to the left, and then melting down. Let's recenter the hips, walk the hands back towards center, and then over to the left. Hips slide to the right, and we melt. Inhaling, we make our way back to center, pushing up to all fours, and then making our way to one hip as we guide ourselves into a seated position. Let's bring the feet in front of us, soles of the feet down, knees softly bent, bringing the hands back behind us to support us. Let's begin a slow sway of the knees from side to side as though the windshield wipers are on during a drizzly day. So it's just a gentle side to side. It's not a downpour of rain. It's just a gentle drizzle. The next time you find your knees moving to one side, let's stay right there, laying the legs down, bringing the hands up and away from behind us. The front leg here with the shin and the foot right in front. Let's bring the hands to right in front of that shin and then begin to walk the hands towards the knee and then eventually over towards the thigh, moving into a twist here. On our inhales, we lengthen up through the top of the head, and on our exhales, we move deeper into the twist. The twist originates in the belly. Our next inhale brings us all the way back to center. We sway once again. Hands are supporting from behind. And then we allow the legs to lay down in the opposite configuration. So now we have this leg as our front leg. We bring the hands around towards the shin and we begin to walk, fingertips around towards the knee and then towards the thigh, and we move ourselves into, like we're corkscrewing around into a twist. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, that belly, it originates a twist. Our next inhale brings us all the way back to center. We begin now to make our descent down to lying on our backs. Once you've arrived, let's draw the knees in towards the chest. Bring the hands behind the legs for support, drawing the knees in towards the belly. If it's comfortable, let's bring the head up as though the nose is attempting to touch the knees. Draw yourself in, a tight little ball. Stay with me here, a few more breaths, draw it in. Don't forget to breathe. And now on our next inhale, let's expand all the way out. Legs extend. Arms reach up and overhead. We reach through the fingertips, through the toes, making ourselves nice and long. Give yourself a chance to wiggle everything out. Wrists and fingers roll and move and wiggle. Ankles roll. Toes wiggle and move. And then let's allow the arms to float all the way down to a comfortable resting place by our sides. Let's begin to feel into all those areas of the body that are touching down. Allow our bodies to become heavy and supported and comforted by the ground, by the earth. We're in a safe place. We're supported. Using the breath to soften out any areas still left in the body that might be holding on. Checking in with the jaw, the forehead, around the throat and the back of the neck. Melting the shoulders down. The arms become heavy. Feeling the low back pressing down. The hips melt all down the length of the legs to the heels, pressing gently down. Allowing the body and the mind to drift away, but knowing that at any time our breath is there for us. We can always come back to the breath if we need to. Keeping the eyes closed if you choose. Let's bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. Let's wrap ourselves in a nice big hug, crossing the arms over, hugging in. Taking a nice inhale and a sigh out. On our next inhale, let's open the arms, unfurling, opening to the side. At the same time, we'll allow the knees to move out to the side into a reclining butterfly. Exhale, we'll close everything back up. So imagine the wings of a butterfly, the arms hug in, the knees drift back together. And then we inhale, opening the wings all the way back up. Exhale, drawing everything back in. One more time. Inhale, we open. Exhale, closing in, hugging one more time. And then making our way to one side, pausing here for a breath. And then gently, we guide our way all the way back up to a seated position of our choosing. Let's allow the arms to drift to the side, and then elbows become heavy and melt back down. Inhaling, exhaling, like the wings of a bird, just slowly making its way up out of a tree and into the air. This time as the arms reach out, we hug everything in, drawing all the energy in towards us. The hands come together, palm to palm at heart center, and we bow. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.